Good morning. It is December 29th, 2020. This is Eureka John at the Eureka Street Crypto Hub, broadcasting live from Leander, Texas. And it is 5:49 in the morning. I got to make this a quick broadcast because I have to get up and get ready for work while I am up. But I just wanted to get some broadcast time in. I love doing this, and with everybody that has been in and out of the house and over the holidays, I did actually manage to get a couple broadcasts in, but I haven't really been able to do any project-focused stuff. Hey, here I am. Okay. Let me move this camera over here, and let's get started. Yes, in the background you can see my chicken fish and fish chicken. I made those at a very odd time in my life. And my watch is telling me good morning. Okay. And let me shut this thing off. And okay, anyway, I wanted to go over an article I read that was really good and share it with you guys because for a while I was kind of in the dark about stablecoins, what their purpose was, and it was a hard concept for me to grasp whenever I first started doing crypto. And I'm on this journey just like you guys, learning every single day. I'm by no means some type of crypto guru, and I'm just trying to figure this stuff out, and I'm just kind of documenting the process as I go along. So here I am, and this is not financial advice and all that stuff, So, all right, you know that. If you've listened to any YouTuber, you know not to take, financial advice from any YouTuber. But I do listen to a lot of different YouTubers, and I get a lot of great information from them. And I take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that over there, and I just glop it all together, and it builds up to my knowledge of crypto and the decisions that I want to make with the types of projects that I want to invest in, and when I want to enter and when I want to exit, and all that good stuff. So let's see here. Let me turn off this video game because I think it's using up a bunch of my RAM, and it's slowing things down. So let me get back to CoinGecko. Okay, so anyway, Bitcoin's at $26,723.27. It's good. Nice healthy retracement here after having gotten up to even 28,000 for a brief time. Super stoked about all this because it's just keeping on going up. I see it's crazy, man. Like the slightest retracement by maybe 2% in the past 24 hours is what it was last night. And I see some YouTubers just screaming that the sky's falling. There's going to be a major crash coming soon. I'm like, you know what? If there is, then I'll scoop up more. I mean, it's just, come on, guys. Especially, I don't want to call out any particular Scandinavian YouTubers who are constantly having an emergency situation over everything, red siren lights on all his posts. But really, don't fall for the clickbait. Everything seems to be just fine. Unless you're in XRP. I got an email last night from Crypto.com. Dear valued customer, effective January 19th, 2021, 10 a.m. UTC, XRP will be delisted and suspended from Crypto.com app in the U.S. below. Please find out how the delisting of XRP will be handled across Crypto.com's products. So that to me is huge because I've used Crypto.com quite a bit in my onboarding process of when I onboard my fiat, my dollars to crypto. I'll generally buy some DAI. I've never really bought like Tether or anything, which I'm going to get onto here in a second. I generally buy DAI or I buy Bitcoin or Ethereum as an onboarding tool. And then from there, I'll probably branch out. Well, Bitcoin I'll just store away, but from a DAI or Ethereum, I'll branch out and buy other types of altcoins. But it's interesting. I have bought some XRP on Crypto.com, and they're no longer having it. And everybody is just bugging out of XRP on January 19th or 21st or some January 19th as well. Coinbase is getting out of XRP as well. You'll still be able to hold it, I guess, but you can't really do much with it after that point. I heard yesterday the Modern Investor, bless him, he's an amazing podcaster. I listen to him daily. He's so awesome. But I think he was wrong on this one point about XRP. Really, him kind of minimalizing the fact that all these exchanges are dropping it. He says it's only being dropped in the U.S. and by weird, no-name type of exchanges. And lo and behold, after he says that yesterday morning, then suddenly all these major exchanges are dropping it. And he said the Coinbase stuff was just circumstantial. It doesn't seem too circumstantial to me. So I think this is a big deal. I think XRP may be, well, okay, yes, only a small percentage of XRP customers and users are in the US, which that is a very valid point. Which, okay, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. Think about this. I'm going to go Bearable Bull here. If you guys are familiar with Bearable Bull, he's real big on the whole New World Order, global reset, and conspiracy type of stuff. I hate to throw around the word conspiracy because it's used in a derogatory fashion. But anyway, imagine a world in which the entire world gets included after this great reset on this new world currency, except for the United States. And it's used as a way of sabotage to prevent the United States and punishing the United States for being the dominant factor in the world economic environment, and for having used the dollar as a weapon, a weaponized dollar for the longest time to hold down these nation states. And then now that the United States won't be included in XRP, and then now suddenly XRP be ushered in as the world currency, and then the United States not get to play with all the other kids on the playground. Far-fetched scenario, but my mind likes to think about stuff like that sometimes, and it would be interesting. That's all I have to say. But I doubt that would happen. That's only an imaginary scenario, but super fun to think about. Better start batting down the hatches and buying guns and non-perishable foods because and get some gold, right? Anyway, that's why there's Bitcoin, and I don't think that any of the large interests in the United States would ever let anything like that happen. But anyway, I entertained that thought because I'm a weirdo. Anyway, so Ethereum is at 725.16. That is absolutely awesome. I love Ethereum. I'm a big Ethereum fan. And then XRP is down at 19 cents. I'm almost tempted to just buy some when it hits the bottom just to hold on to it and then, ride out this outlandish theory of mine. So who knows? Maybe one day I'll buy $500 worth of Ethereum and then of XRP, and then I'll hold on to it through all this mess, and then whenever the world resets itself and everybody else gets to play with the XRP as their world currency, then here I am, one of the few Americans with a little bag of XRP, then I'll become the richest man in America, right? Anyway, it's early in the morning. Polkadot's at 645. Man, 31.6% in the past 7 days, 11.4% in the past 24 hours. Cardano's at 18%, up 20% in 7 days, 10% in 24 hours. I'll have to check my Daedalus wallet and my staking and see how that's doing. I haven't checked that in about a week. Chainlink at 1192. Come on, do something. I want to see Chainlink do something. I put it back in Celsius to earn some more of that interest. Celsius has 4.51% interest on Chainlink right now. Let's see. I've been toying around with possibly getting some wrapped Bitcoin and putting my Bitcoin to work, but I don't want to get restless. I'm pretty conservative, and right now the price appreciation is good. I don't want to get greedy, so I just want to and end up losing it all by some stupid exploit. I'm worried about that. I'm worried about putting my Bitcoin on Ethereum. Oh, I just went green there. Oh, no, we're not. Anyway, I'm worried about putting my Bitcoin on Ethereum because of some smart contract exploit. pretty sure Ren VM machine and wrapped Bitcoin are safe, but there's still just this lurking little corner in the back of my mind that won't let me do it just yet. Celsius Network's up to $5. I almost bought some Celsius yesterday, but I didn't. I ended up buying Zilliqa instead. If I would have bought Celsius yesterday, I would have, because I didn't buy Celsius yesterday because the Ethereum gas fee was like $45 to do the transaction. I was like, hell no. But I would have made that $45 back immediately. Oh well. Theta Network, my little darling, is $1.42. Let's see here. Crypto.com. Sorry, guys. VeChain. Okay. 21.2% in the past 7 days. I'd like to see VeChain do something, but the total supply is so large, it's going to be really tough. And Zilliqa here at 8 cents, up 68% in the last 7 days. And we got Aave at 79.05. I want to see Aave go. Uniswap, come on, let's do something. And what else we got here? Got the graph. I've been seeing a lot of articles about that. I should probably look into that just to stay on top. I've been trying to follow Blockstack. It seems like an interesting project. And Ren here up 33.4%, 14.3% in the past 24 hours. I bought a little bag of Ren. If you saw my last broadcast right there, I bought a little bit of Ren live there to add to my bag. And then Energy Web Token hasn't done much. I have a lot of faith in this project, but we'll see. And then Ocean Protocol, come on, Ocean, let's do something. I love this project. I love the whole idea of it. I want to be an active Ocean ambassador, and I will make the time to actually do some more stuff with Ocean. And then I want to check on one more, Unibright here, and it's at 50 cents. So Unibright is starting to do something again. Let's pop up above 50 cents and see where it goes. Anyway, let's talk about the point of this episode. Let me check on my Theta stream here real quick. Let me pull this out. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's get back to the home. Okay, so there's this article I came across, and it highlighted Tether and fighting to be stable, the evolution of stablecoins. And the crypto industry has been in a tizzy lately over the Stable Act, a U.S. bill that would require stablecoin issuers to obtain banking charters. If adopted, the Stable Act would force stablecoin reserves to be regulated like bank deposits. This would be a massive setback to stablecoins, which serve as the de facto money of the crypto ecosystem today. Why is this important? Well, stablecoins are, okay, if you're trying to onboard and offboard dollars to crypto, it's kind of a long process sometimes, and depending on the exchange, it can take a few days to process through your bank. And then if you try to trade in your crypto $4, then it's a taxable event, and that can also take a while, and time will pass, and then price will change, and it can just be a real sluggish pain in the ass. What stablecoins do is they provide an easy on and off ramp for your dollars. So Tether or DAI or USDC, USDT, TUSD, all these are stable coins. And what you do is you put in $100 that you want to put in towards crypto, and you'll buy Tether. Okay, and Tether is basically supposedly pegged exactly to $1, and it bases upon a supply and demand, and it mints and burns. DAI does that, but supposedly the people who are in charge of Tether, because it's a centralized stablecoin, are keeping track of the dollar amount of Tether versus the actual dollar amount that they have in their bank account. So here we go. The guy divides this stablecoin era, the evolution of stablecoin, into 4 eras. The pure crypto era. And before 2018, Bitcoin was the numeraire era of crypto. If you wanted to buy something with cryptocurrencies, you'd buy it with Bitcoin. And that leads to the whole, Bitcoin pizza guy who bought a pizza, I believe, with 2 Bitcoin, and then now that pizza is worth, shoot, $50,000 at this point. So, yeah, um, it's kind of ridiculous. Bitcoin is like 7 transactions per second or per minute or something like that. But it's really slow, is the point, and it's a dinosaur. Bitcoin, a lot of its critics say Bitcoin is out and old, and then there's Bitcoin maximalists that say Bitcoin is the only way. To me, Bitcoin is a store of value. It's become digital gold, and it sounds almost cliche within the crypto world to sit there and talk about Bitcoin like that, but I mean, it's true. It's a great way to communicate what Bitcoin is to new people. And when they say, well, you'll never see Bitcoin be adopted as the world currency because it's just, not fast enough. No, Bitcoin is digital gold. It's not something you're going to go in your corner store and buy a pack of smokes with. All right. It's something you'll store away and hold on to, maybe with wrapped Bitcoin and Ren BTC, use it as collateral to borrow against it, and to make your money work for you. And so after Bitcoin realized, after the 2018 bubble collapse, whenever cryptocurrency was flying high, and then everything just fell through the floor because it was only based upon retail speculation, and institutions hadn't quite jumped in there quite yet, and the foundation wasn't as solid as the weight that was being put on it. So a lot of people lost faith, and then in comes Tether, stablecoin's permissionless and programmable digital dollar. The most common stablecoin is a fiat collateralized stablecoin, basically IOUs for dollars held in a bank account. Each USDT is technically an IOU issued by Tether Limited, which entitles you to a dollar deposit they hold at Deltec Bank in the Bahamas. Oh yeah, there's been a lot of snarky comments and controversy and accusations and things flying around about whether or not Tether actually has the dollars to back it. I have stayed away from Tether because I've listened to hundreds of podcasts, and there's just been so much negative talk about Tether, about the people who run Tether, about the way it's been run, accusations about them not having enough money in case suddenly everybody calls back their dollars from it. I don't know. I can't go into detail about a lot of that stuff just because I don't have enough knowledge about it. But he points it. You can think of crypto dollars as a new rung in the hierarchy of money. Their dollars as abstract monetary assets via blockchains. So here he goes. Most permissionless is crypto dollars, and then purest money, apparently, but in the eyes of the public, is the dollars at the Fed. The ones that retain the most value. Permissionless, basically meaning that nobody can sweep it out from under you. So Tether right here, out of all the stable coins around right now, Tether is by far the most popular one, as you can see in this huge gap here. The next is USDC, which is highly regulated. Then there's DAI, which is a decentralized cryptocurrency, and we'll get into that. Then BUSD, Binance US dollar. There's some others too. TUSD, True US dollar. There is, I know there's others. I don't know. The answer is straightforward. USDT is the most dominant stablecoin in the world because it got there first. It's been around for so long, it's built up a moat as being the most liquid, most in demand, and most credibly neutral stablecoin in the world. In Asia, Tether's nebulous regulatory status is often seen as a plus over the more buttoned-up USDC, which I believe is run by Gemini and the Winklevoss twins. I think so. Either that or Kraken, one of the two. I didn't understand the importance of Tether, maybe because I'm American. Foreign countries don't have access to the US dollar in the same way that I do in my privileged American life. And so it's real easy for them to go in and out of a stable coin, and the value of Tether is a lot higher in that way. In China, for example, each citizen is legally allowed to purchase only 50K of USD a year. Most of the BRICS countries face similar policies, not to mention countries facing heavy inflation like Argentina, Iran, or Lebanon. So Tether is a valuable commodity in a lot of these countries, in a way that maybe an American may never understand. And countries are growing frustrated with a heavy-handed U.S. financial hegemony. Today, Tether adoption is growing in cross-border commerce, especially across the Russia-China border. This lets businesses embrace the economic instability and neutrality of the U.S. dollar decoupled from the cudgel of U.S. sanctions. There's an article on that in The Economist, talking about America's aggressive U.S. use of sanctions. And people are just sick of it. Basically, they're tired of being bullied around by the American dollar. And I mean, honestly, I can't really blame them. I love my country, God bless America, but man, like I've traveled overseas into other countries and down into third world countries in Central America, and I feel bad for some of the policies that are put on here. Here's some of the things here that talk about some of the regulations and the controls that the U.S. dollar has been put on. Foreign companies cannot use U.S. dollars for transactions with embargoed countries. So this is their way of getting around that, by retaining the value of the dollar and then still being able to trade as an embargoed country. And Tether is a vehicle for that. And then he goes into, at bottom, Tether is Liberty Reserve. And this brought into an entire other rabbit hole with me. I was like, what is Liberty Reserve? And apparently, some guys who started a digital gold to dollar back in the early 2000s. Let's see here. Gold Age was the company. And it was started by one guy, and then the United States government was clamping down because he was basically pegging his digital certificates to gold, and then they gave him such a hard time, and he protested back, and he sold it to this guy Arthur Budovsky and Vladimir Katz. Then the United States government came in and shut that down, and called it illegal. They were using it for some possible nefarious operations. Although the United States government loves to say that any competition is nefarious and contributes to money laundering and all that other stuff. And they've been doing this with Bitcoin, and they do this with cryptocurrency. Any type of competition against the government is always money laundering, no matter what. Even if it's just trying to back off from the gaslighting a little bit. Gold Age was shut down. And Budovsky and Katz were sentenced to 5 years in prison, but ended up being probation. And then Budovsky ran down to Costa Rica, and he started Liberty Reserve. So Liberty Reserve is basically a digital dollar, supposedly pegged to the dollar, and you could buy one for one, and it I guess got really huge, and the Costa Rican government tried to shut it down. They couldn't really do it. Then it just kind of took a world government effort, I guess, let me see here. In 2011, Liberty Reserve was linked to attempts to sell thousands of stolen Australian bank account numbers and British bank cards. In 2012, a group of hackers attempted to blackmail antivirus software company Symantec into transferring $50,000 into a Liberty Reserve account. So it was being used for a whole lot of laundering. I mean, legitimately. I'm not going to try to legitimize Liberty Reserve, but it was kind of a previous attempt in order to use the value of the digital dollar without having to go through the regulations and the sanctions of the dollar. So in a way, this person writing this article, you could go down a rabbit hole here. I would recommend reading about all this stuff. It's fascinating stuff. So At bottom, Tether is Liberty Reserve. Recall that Tether is under investigation by multiple U.S. agencies and prosecutors and has so far produced very little in defense. It has never produced a full audit of its reserves. Tether does KYC on its on-ramps and off-ramps, but this thin veneer of compliance is unlikely to protect them from the U.S. government. Note that Tether has blacklisted just north of 250 total addresses out of its millions of token holders. So what got Liberty Reserve was the fact that people were doing business anonymously and nobody had to do any KYC, which means know your customer. Okay, and then let's see here. So they've been playing a cat and mouse game with the bank and the U.S. government, and it won't continue forever. Tether will eventually get shut down or regulated out of existence. And when that happens, the shit is gonna hit the fan. And then incoming after Tether will be a banker-friendly US dollar, like they're trying to do with Libra or Diem, the Facebook cryptocurrency, which I think is completely lame. USDC, BUSD, and TUSD. All these are going to be what this article is calling a regulated USD. Okay, I'm going to get up, I swear. That's my alarm going off. RUSD will have the same affordance as Tether, but will be more compliant and trustworthy. And with time, RUSD will supplant Tether's role in the international market for digital, permissionless, and apolitical dollars. Will this be the end-all be-all? The terminal form of crypto dollars in the world. Tether will crash. Bitcoin will crash. Everything's going to crash when Tether crashes. And however, there will be people screaming the sky is falling as always, but I believe Bitcoin will pull through because just math. So the curse of digital cash. Governments do not like cash. Cash is, let's see here. Today, fiat-backed stablecoins are effectively treated like cash. Anyone, anywhere is allowed to pay whomever they want and whatever amounts they want. It is only when these tokens are redeemed for their underlying US dollar that one hits the legal checkpoint. Until then, there's no meaningful legal oversight enforced in the flow of these tokens. Now, I'm not a tax guy, and I'm going to have to figure this out come around next April, very soon. But I believe that anything in the crypto space that is done is not taxable until you try to cash out, and then you'll have to figure out exactly how much you made on your trades and all that, and then pay either capital gains or claim your losses. So just like any other type of investment. So wouldn't banks start adopting this? Stablecoins would effectively allow you to route around Bank Secrecy Act. In this version of the world, anyone is free to instantly transfer 50 million to anyone else in the world, no questions asked, with no way to definitively identify either counterparty after the fact. Yeah, if this were to persist, stablecoins would become the most powerful banking hack ever invented. Bank deposits, once the locus of financial regulation, would become strictly inferior to digital cash. If this is endorsed by regulators, then it will only be a matter of time until stablecoins gobble up a significant portion of USD settlement in the world. Yeah, imagine that happening, right? So, however, after 9/11 and the Patriot Act and the Great Financial Crisis, regulation has been just ratcheting down, a little tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter every year. So, this is going to get tighter and tighter and tighter until... let's see here. Let's see. Should their liabilities really be permanently treated like cash as opposed to bank deposits? Can the American regulatory machine resist clamping down on this? No. The short history of America after the Patriot Act tells us probably not. Can the American regulatory machine resist clamping down on this? The short history of America after the Patriot Act tells us probably not. Even the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, a global intergovernmental organization that sets global standards for AML regulation, recently wrote that stablecoins should never be outside the scope of anti-money laundering controls. AML, anti-money laundering, FATF, all these acronyms that I never knew about until I got into crypto. Crypto's been an crazy financial education for me. I never knew any of these agencies existed. Even FinCEN down here, Financial Something Enforcement Network. So the RUSDs are treated as digital cash today, but make no mistake, regulators don't want any such thing to exist. Cash, with all its anonymity and unaccountability, cash decreases the legibility of the economy, and accordingly, it is the enemy of the state. If cash didn't exist, governments would never allow its reinvention. So governments hate cash and legibility. I was like, what is this legibility? It's literally readability. It is readability. There's an article, I was just like super fascinated by this, and the whole idea of legibility, a big little idea called legibility, is an article written in 2010 by Venkatesh Rao, and there's a book by James C. Scott. I want to read it. Seeing Like a State, How Certain Schemes to Improve the Human Condition Have Failed. And the pictures below from the book, used with permission from the author, graphically and literally illustrate the central concept in this failure pattern, an idea called legibility. And here's the trees naturally growing, and here's the trees in rows. Here's the recipe, the authoritarian high modernist recipe for failure. Here's the recipe. A person looks at the complex and confusing realities, such as the social dynamics of an old city. They fail to understand all the subtleties of how the complex reality works. They attribute that failure to the irrationality of what you're looking at, rather than your own limitations. They come up with an idealized blank slate vision of what reality ought to look like. And then they argue the relative simplicity and Platonic orderliness of the vision that represents rationality. Then they use authoritarian power to impose that vision by demolishing the old reality if necessary, and watch your rational utopia fail horribly. This sounds like communism, basically, in every form, shape, and fashion, or even socialism. The big mistake in this pattern is pattern of failure is projecting your subjective lack of comprehension onto the object you are looking at as irrationality. We make this mistake because we are tempted by a desire for legibility. This just brings me back to graduate school. I mean, I was just obsessed with, and we didn't actually study this guy in graduate school, but I did on my own time. Michel Foucault, Madness and Civilization, Discipline and Punishment, The History of Sexuality, The Order of Things, and Archaeology of the Human Sciences. I mean, I was obsessed with Foucault and René Girard, and this whole idea of just study of institutions and how we come to look at these institutions. And I think he was one of the first people to actually look at this idea of legibility in a modern way. So just the idea of looking at something that we are even a part of, like a city, and then finding a way to control that. He explains the idea of researching efforts by nation states to settle or sedentarize nomads, pastoralists, gypsies, and other people living non-mainstream lives. And he says, the more I examined these efforts at sedentarization, the more I came to see them as the state's attempt to make a society legible, to arrange the population in ways that simplified the classic state functions of taxation, conscription, and prevention of rebellion. Having begun to think in these terms, I began to see legibility as a central problem in statecraft. The pre-modern state was in many crucial respects particularly blind. It knew precious little about its subjects, their wealth, their landholdings, their yields, their location, their very identity. It lacked anything like a detailed map of its terrain and its people. All this sounds very familiar to what is going on, and hence the reason why Bitcoin is exploding. People are just all around the entire world are just scrambling and wiggling and trying to get out of the shackles of the dollar right now, and of the banks, and all the NSF fees and transaction fees and ATM fees and fees. Everybody is just clamoring to get away from it. So cash, with all its anonymity and unaccountability, cash decreases the legibility of the economy, back to that word, and accordingly it is the enemy of the state. If cash didn't exist, governments would never allow its reinvention. FinCEN's recently proposed rules requiring exchanges to report name and home address for transfers to unhosted wallets all but confirms this. The saving grace today is that the RUSDs today are too small to warrant meaningful intervention, and they're mostly used for speculating on cryptocurrencies. However, with all this growth going on, what would actually trigger regulators coming in and stopping the party? Two scenarios. One might be that RUSD crypto dollars issuance balloons in response to growing global demand, which is happening right now. A fear of exponential growth might cause regulators or Congress to swoop in and turn the screws, which is happening right now in a way. A second scenario might be triggered by a black swan. Imagine a headline about terrorists funded with stablecoins or an authoritarian country using stablecoins to evade U.S. sanctions. There would be immediate calls to regulate crypto dollars. I can very well see that happening in some kind of false flag scenario or actually happening. I don't think RUSDs would go away, mind you. They would most likely, they would allow small balances without KYC, but above that size an account has to get KYC to receive more funds. Or they could get regulated all the way like banks and enforce KYC on all crypto dollar holders, as was implied by the statement by the Presidential Working Group. Right now, the Stable Act, they're trying to enact KYC on every type of crypto transaction to and from a wallet. That would be like you're trying to give somebody $20 for mowing your lawn, and you have to have them verify their identity and all that in order just to throw somebody $20 cash for mowing your lawn. It's just not going to work. And so the final form is a decentralized stablecoin, something that does not include stablecoin, KYC, and something that is not controlled by any one particular entity. Why do all the other avenues have to be exhausted before a decentralized stablecoin has a chance of winning? The primary distinguishing feature of a stablecoin, of course, is that it is worth $1, but decentralized stablecoins always have weaker price pegs. So we have to go through all that, and we basically have to take the dollar out of the equation. A decentralized stablecoin is pegged to another crypto, but crypto coins right now are too wild in price with the adoption and the the price discovery of them. Crypto native stablecoins are different. They have weaker price pegs because there's no true arbitrage in their price pegs. They operate more like central banks targeting a price band. Monetary policy moves slowly, and when currency depegs, the central bank tries its best to react in real time. Speculators may bet on the peg soon reverting, but this is not arbitrage. It's better described as short-term speculation on the future effectiveness of monetary policy. And then the author goes on to say, but this works. It does create a decentralized stablecoin. DAI today has proved it, having survived and maintained its peg over 2018. And then when its Ethereum collateral drew down in price approximately 95% during that exploit, and then it survived Black Thursday, which was a total crypto crash when Ethereum collateral crashed 50% in a single day. So we know the mechanics behind decentralized pegs can work amidst highly volatile markets, but we also know that they are not as robust as centralized stablecoins, and no wonder given how much complex their mechanisms have to be with the minting and burning and all that type of stuff going on. There's a lot of governance token type of stuff, governance protocols. There's a lot of minting and burning. There's a lot of pulleys and levers with decentralized stablecoins. Unfortunately, the market doesn't care because today nobody's doing any large-scale censorship of stablecoins. But once they do start doing that large-scale censorship of stablecoins, like talked about above, once some kind of black swan event or the popularity of these stablecoins gets too high, then the decentralized stablecoins are going to have their place. If no censorship is actually happening in these centralized stablecoins, then Tether is providing the same thing that DAI purports to give you, except more liquid and with a higher price peg. Right now, DAI is a worse stablecoin than Tether for all practical purposes, but that will eventually change. Censorship will come because regulators will have no stomach for truly unregulated digital cash. Once they impose regulations on fiat-backed stablecoins, only then will censorship resistance be valued in a stablecoin, and only then will assets like DAI, Celo, or ESD become suitable numeraire for the crypto industry. That is my long-term thesis on why I believe decentralized crypto dollars will be the future money of crypto. I believe they will fundamentally change the global financial landscape, and this is why I entitled the piece Evolution of Stablecoins. Evolution is not a goal, but a process, one driven by selection pressures and extinction events. So anyway, that is basically says the Stable Act is for now an overture, not the not itself the ending, but an omen and what an ending might look like. Anyway, that's that article. I found it extremely fascinating. It really educated me on, I mean, I already knew what Tether was, but on exactly the mechanics and what its exact place in all this patchwork quilt of tokens and coins and currencies are in this world of cryptocurrency, and and how it interacts with the banks and society. And this is all just a huge education getting into the crypto space. I'm being educated on math and sociology and finance and all types of stuff, game theory. I mean, it doesn't end. Every day I learn something new, and it's incredible. Let's see here. Let me check my Theta stream, and somebody's waving at me, but I can't. Oh, hey, what's up, Marco Pate? Here, let me give you a gift for tuning in and watching. I'm broadcasting live on Theta right now, and so yeah, and he followed me. All right, thanks for following. Theta Network is absolutely blowing up. Oh, and we got Egregious here. What's up, Egregious Ally? Let me throw you some stuff too. You must be on this Theta Network every single day. I'm doing good. I'm getting ready to go to work, and I wanted to talk about the stablecoins there. I don't know what the Thetaverse badge is, but Theta is doing some incredible stuff. They're now allowing you to mint your own token. Maybe I'll come up with the Eureka token. Yeah, T-Fuel is blowing up. I previously kind of given T-Fuel a negative review on one of my podcasts, but I eat my words. T-Fuel is going to town. The Theta token's going to town at $1.40 something right now, and I'm doing good. That's all I gotta say. With my Theta, my T-Fuel and my Theta token investment. Anyway, that's basically what I have. I need to go throw my smoothie down my throat and get my butt down on my hour-long commute to work. So you guys have a good day. Next broadcast will be covering Zilliqa. I'm gonna do one of my. I'm trying to balance this out between covering actual projects and then covering just news like I am today, freeform. And the projects I actually kind of follow an outline. So I'm trying to divide up my broadcast between those two different types of things. The project-based ones I don't do live because I try to focus and really cover in depth in the best way that I can possibly do the details of a particular project and why somebody may or may not want to invest. Anyway, I gotta go. Gots to get to work. Time to get up and go to work. Yep. Anyway, I got my sports drink with loads of caffeine. And I should be working out by drinking this, but I'm just gonna work, not work out. So you guys take care, have a great day, and New Year's Eve's coming up. It's gonna be my birthday soon. I'm gonna be old. I turned 45, so yeah. I'm old Gen Xer. I'm just a Gen Xer. Gen Xers are notoriously skeptics about everything. We're just too cool for school. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. I'm just starting to ramble. All right, bye.